I seek refuge in God from the outcast Satan. In the name of Allah, who is gracious, merciful. Quran Topics by Tanvir Kazmi. Chapter number 9, Believers. English audio number 8. Al Nahl 16, verse 30. As for the righteous, when they are asked, what do you think of these revelations from your Lord? They said, good. For those who lead a righteous life, happiness and the living of the hereafter is even better. What a blissful living for the righteous. The gardens of Eden are preserved for them. The gardens of Eden are reserved for them, wherein rivers flow. They have anything they wish therein. Allah thus rewards the righteous. The angels terminate their lives in a state of righteousness, saying, peace be upon you. Enter paradise as a reward for your works. Al Nahl 16, verse 41. Those who immigrated from Those who immigrated for the sake of God, because they were persecuted, we will surely make it up to them generously in this life, and the reward of the hereafter is even greater if they only knew. This is because they steadfastly preserve and in their Lord they trust. Al Nahl 16, verse 91. You shall fulfill your agreement with God when you make such an agreement. You shall not violate the oaths after swearing to carry them out, for you have made Allah a grantor for you. God knows everything you do. Al Nahl 16, verse 94. Do not abuse the oaths among you, lest you slide back after having a strong foothold, then you incur misery. Such is the consequences of repelling from the path of God. You incur a terrible punishment. Do not sell your oaths short before God. What Allah possesses is far better for you, if you only knew. What you possess runs out, but what God possesses lasts forever. We will surely reward those who steadfastly preserve. We will reward them for their righteous works. Anyone who works righteousness, male or female, while believing, we will surely grant them a happy life in this world, and we will surely pay them their full reward for their righteous works. When you read the Quran, you shall seek refuge in God from Satan, the rejected. He has no power over those who believe and trust in their Lord. The power is limited to those who choose Him as their master, those who choose Him as their God. Al Nahl 16, verse 114. Therefore, you shall eat from God's provision everything that is lawful and good, and be appreciative of God's blessing. If you do worship Him alone, He only prohibits for you the dead animals, blood, the meat of pigs, the food which is dedicated to other than Allah. If one is forced to eat these without being deliberate or malicious, then God is forgiver, most merciful. You shall not eat, you shall not utter lies with your own tongues, stating, this is lawful and this is unlawful, to fabricate lies and attribute them to God. Shall those who fabricate lies and attribute them to Allah will never succeed. They enjoy briefly and then suffer painful punishment. Al Nahl 16, verse 124. The Sabbath was decreed only for those who ended up disputing it. Your Lord is the one who will judge them on the day of resurrection regarding their disputes. You shall invite to the path of your Lord with wisdom and kind enlightenment, and debate with them in the best possible manner. Your Lord knows best who has strayed from his path, and he knows best who are guided ones. And if you punish, you shall inflict an equivalent punishment. But if you resort to patient, it will be better for the patient ones. You shall resort to patience, and your patience is attainable only with Allah's help. Do not grieve over them, and do not be annoyed by their schemes. God is with those who lead a righteous life and those who are charitable. Bani Israel 17, verse 9. This Quran guides to the best path. This Quran guides to the best path and brings good news to the believers who lead a righteous life, that they have deserved a great reward. Bani Israel 17, verse 18. Anyone who chooses This fleeting life as his priority, we will rush to him what we decide to give them. Then we commit them to Gehenna, where they suffers forever, despised and defeated. As for those who choose the hereafter as their priority and work righteousness while believing, their efforts will be appreciated. Ban Israel 17 verse 23. Your Lord has decreed that you shall not worship except him, and your parents shall be honored, as long as one or both of them live. You shall never say to them, Uff, the slightest gesture of annoyance, nor shall you shout at them. You shall treat them amicably, nicely, and lower for them the wings of humility and kindness, and say, My Lord, have mercy on them, for they have raised me from infancy. Your Lord is fully aware of your innermost thoughts. If you maintain righteousness, He is forgiver of those who repent. You shall give the due charity to the relatives. You shall give the due alms to the relatives, the needy, the poor, and the traveling alien, but do not be excessive extravagant. The extravagants are brothers of the devils. The devil is unappreciative of his Lord. Even you have to turn away from them as you pursue the mercy of your Lord. You shall treat them in nicest manner. You shall not keep your hand stingily tied to your neck, nor shall you foolishly open it up, lest you end up blamed and sorry. For your Lord increases the provision for anyone he chooses, and reduces it. He is fully knower of his creature, seer. You shall not kill your children through the fear of poverty. We provide for them as well as for you. Killing them is a gross offense. You shall not commit adultery, it is a gross sin and an evil behavior. You shall not kill any person, for Allah has made the life sacred, except in the course of justice. If one is killed unjustly, then we give his heir authority to enforce justice. Thus they shall not exceed the limits in avenging the murder. They will be helped. You shall not touch the orphans' money except for their own good until they reach maturity. You shall fulfill your agreement, for agreement is a great responsibility. You shall give full measure when you trade, and weigh equitably. This is better and more righteous. You shall not accept any information unless you verify it for yourselves. I have given you the hearing, the eyesight, and the brain, and you are responsible for using them. You shall not walk proudly on the earth. You cannot bore strength. You cannot bore through the earth, nor can you be as tall as the mountains. All bad behavior is condemned by your Lord. This is some of the wisdom inspired to you by your Lord. You shall not set up any other God beside Allah, lest you end up in Gehenna, blamed and defeated. When Israel 17, verse 45. When you read the Quran, we place between you and those who do not believe in the hereafter an invisible barrier. We place shields around their minds to prevent them from understanding it, and deafness in their ears. And when you preach your Lord using the Quran alone, then run away in aversion. They run away in aversion. Bani Israel 17, verse 53. Tell my servants to treat each other in best possible manner, for the devil will always try to drive a wedge among them. Surely the devil is man's most ardent enemy. Your Lord knows your best. Your Lord knows you best according to his knowledge. He may shower you with his mercy, or he may requite you. We did not send you to be their advocate. But Israel 17, verse 71. The day will come when we summon every people together with the record. Together with the record. As for those who are given a record of righteousness, they will read the record and will not suffer the least injustice. Bani Israel 17, verse 78. You shall observe prayers when the sun declines from its highest point at noon, or it moves towards sunset. You shall also observe the recitation of Quran at dawn. The Quran at dawn is witnessed. During the night you shall meditate for extra credit that that your Lord may raise you to an honorable rank, and say, my Lord, admit us in honorable admittance, and let us depart in honorable departure, and grant us from you a powerful support. Proclaim the truth has prevailed, and falsehood has vanished. Falsehood will inevitably vanish. We send down in the Quran healing and mercy for the believers. At the same time, it only increases the wickedness of the transgressors. Bani Israel 17 verse 88. Say, if all the humans and all the jinn banded together in order to produce a Quran like this, they could never produce anything like it, no matter how much assistance they lent one another. We have cited for the people in this Quran all kind of example, but most people insist upon disbelieving.